on Facebook and YouTube as well as TikTok. And so here we go. You guys, I'm Misha Fayon. I'm here because I want to help you understand what could be going on with your health. Because if you're like me at all and you have all this stuff going on, you're not getting answers, but you're just getting told if you lost weight, if you ate better, if you did all these things, you would feel better, but yet you're trying to do all those things and nothing's getting better. And you just keep getting all of the same answers, which is really no answers. And you're frustrated because you're tired. You have headaches. You have body aches and pains. You're constantly hungry. Your stomach just continues to grow. You have high blood pressure. You have brain fog. You have all of this stuff going on, and nobody can seem to understand or tell you why. We're going to dive into that right now. Okay. So, the one thing that's happening with most of us, it addresses almost every disease and disorder that we have today, is this thing called insulin resistance. So, insulin resistance really is driven by the fact that our food is imperfect in our environment today, but it affects over 88% of us. I keep saying this. I need to fix this slide because they're now saying 93% of us have some type of metabolic disorder, which all leads back to insulin resistance. And at the other part of that, there's this thing called cardiovascular diseases. It's taking 17.9 million lives a year. Now, look, if we're losing about 50,000 people a day, and 80% of those deaths are linked to long-term hypertension, and that hypertension is linked to insulin resistance, how much thinking do we have to do to understand that maybe, just maybe, instead of adding more medications to us, if we take care of the insulin resistance, we may likely see a increase in our healthy heart rate. That's what happened for me. My blood pressure was highly out of control for over 20 years, close to 30 years, and the only thing that helped it was changing this paradigm that means our food is imperfect. And it just was 2 real food products that I use at 3 points during the day. A tea I drink in the morning and a pre-meal drink I drink before anything I eat. That was it. But it's got my heart rate normal on no medications after all this time when doctors have been fighting to try and figure it out. So insulin resistance really is just when our food is turning into blood glucose way too quickly, causing the pancreas to create this insulin. We have high insulin or hyperinsulinemia that creates insulin resistance. That ends up as diabetes and a number of other things. What those some of those things can be, you guys, look at this. If you know people who are suffering from any of these things, they're likely insulin resistant. So let's start with things like PCOS and erectile dysfunction. Those are two of Dr. Bickman's top disorders that you can tell if this insulin resistance is affecting you. But it affects things like fatty liver, arthritis, sarcopenia, which is muscle wasting, stroke, Alzheimer's, heart disease, childhood obesity, migraine headaches, I mentioned. All of that can be linked to insulin resistance, as well as all of this stuff. You guys can screenshot this if you want, but there's a ton of disorders on there that are all linked to insulin resistance. And I've seen people getting better from many of these things just by becoming more insulin sensitive. So that's really impactful when we look at what's happening. Why are we sick? So one thing people ask me a lot is, well, Misha, you talk about insulin resistance all the time. How do I know if this applies to me? Well, so you're going to look at these things. This comes from Dr. Ben Bickman, one of the top metabolic scientists in the world, and these are some of his top 5 ways to tell. So number 1, if you have hypertension, you're insulin resistant. Skin tags and acanthosis nigricans, or that darkening skin around your elbows, knees, maybe it's around your neck or where your bra line is, or under your arms, in your groin, anywhere where skin is folding and rubbing. Those skin tags and acanthosis nigricans, those are a factor of insulin resistance. By the way, skin tags will go away on their own when you become insulin sensitive. You don't have to have them cut off, burnt off, any of that stuff, because when you do that, they're just going to come back because you haven't addressed the root cause. Address the root cause, they go away without all those surgeries and all that craziness, and then you have this more normal looking skin. So then those other 2 things I just mentioned a minute ago, PCOS is actually insulin resistance, and Dr. Bickman says that he thinks it's mistermed. Like he would rather call it, excuse me, metabolic infertility. It's a factor of a metabolic disorder. So if you know someone who's having hard periods, irregular periods. Maybe they're growing facial hair if they're a woman, or their hair is receding. They have high levels of testosterone, and they're unable to conceive a child even though they want to have a family, and they've been diagnosed with PCOS or they haven't been. Maybe they just need to address the insulin resistance and see what that can do for them. Same thing with erectile dysfunction. You guys, I learned some crazy stuff when talking with Dr. Bickman this last week. One of the things he imparted to us was, when you have insulin resistance, and it's helping store fat. Insulin is not a fat storing hormone, but it starts that process, right? So in the presence of all this excess fat on men's bodies, those fat cells, especially in the brown fat, are starting to act like ovaries in women, and they're taking the testosterone and converting it into estrogen. Now men have low testosterone, they have erectile dysfunction, they have all those other problems. So you get the insulin resistance under control, become more insulin sensitive. The testosterone levels can level out for both men and women. And men, the erectile dysfunction can be a thing of the past. It's not your fault. It's the food we're being fed. So that's why I'm here talking about this, because you guys, I'm tired of all the blame and shame and all of that game, right? So these are just a couple of other ways you can tell if you're insulin resistant. Maybe you have a bulging belly. You have high triglycerides or a low HDL. If you have your labs, check them out. Those are indicators. If you retain water easily, or you have edema, neuropathy, those are signs of insulin resistance. If you're constantly hungry, even after you've just eaten, say you just ate a meal and your belly's like still poked out there because it hasn't digested the food and all of that, but you're still like craving something to eat, that's likely insulin resistance. If you're having body temperature drops, you feel chilled or tired after you eat, that's a factor of insulin resistance. So take care of the insulin problem and you start to take care of those problems, and it's easier than you think. It doesn't take those crazy medications. So some of the other symptoms may be things like migraines, body aches and pains. There's a lot of factors that go into that. I can't cover all of those in detail here, but know that all of these things are related to insulin resistance. Non-alcoholic cirrhosis. Oh my gosh, Sherry. So Sherry over on TikTok is saying she's insulin resistant, had stomach pains, led to a CAT scan, is diagnosed 1 week with non-alcoholic cirrhosis. So you guys, non-alcoholic fatty liver is on the rise. It's on the rise in our adults. It's on the rise in our children. And the cause of that is most likely insulin resistant. But I want to pause for a second, because we have gotten into drinking fruit juices so much, right? So fruit juice and the high amounts of fruit we're eating, that fructose has to be digested by the liver. So when we're overdoing those things in the absence of fiber, now our liver is overloaded, and that's why we have the non-alcoholic fatty liver, because of that fructose. So I don't allow fruit juices in my family. Like I get it. I was one. I had fruit juice in my house because I thought it was healthier for me and my kids. We had it like all the time. My kids remember when there was no soda pop in the house, but there was like tons of fruit juice. Did I know that I was damaging their health? No. So this is just about education, right? So we don't have it now. Anyway, now Sherry, I will tell you, I can't promise you anything. I know my liver panel was going up, 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 and I was on the verge of some type of liver disorder. And my doctor wasn't even addressing it because we were so focused on the diabetes. And within 6 months of starting the system that I use, my liver panels went back down to normal. Now, there's obviously some damage in there, but can you reduce the amount of those fats that are stored in the liver? Yes. Sugar and corn syrup, absolutely. The refined sugars and the corn syrup are killing us. And it's because it's like this straight shot of sugar to our system that's causing all of these problems. Am I saying you can't ever have ice cream or a cupcake or any of that? No, I'm not. I'm just saying let's figure out how to deal with those things, and don't do it all the time. Yeah. So Michaela, we're going to go over that in just a second. Michaela says she thinks she's insulin resistant. What are the main things you can change to control it? So you guys, I want to tell you, I did a free ebook that you guys can all go get. It goes over my 6 simple tips to helping reverse your insulin resistance. If you guys want, let's go take a look, because I've got to manage 2 different platforms here. So we're going to go, you guys, on TikTok, you're going to go to my profile right here. Okay. So right under the red flashing lights, there's the link tree. Just click on that. You guys on YouTube and Facebook, you can just click on the QR code there, or take a picture of the QR code. That's going to take you here. There's this free ebook for those guys who want to know what you can start doing, and we're going to go over that right now. The 6 simple steps to helping manage your insulin resistance. Let's go over those things right quick right now. So let's click this down, this back up. All right. So I'm off track here, but let's go over it because it's important. If you give me just a second, we're going to get there here. So you guys, I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm so out of control today. I'm out of control every day. Who am I trying to fool? Look at, you guys have all been told all of these things, right? Meal replacements, weight loss clinics, all of that. It's not sustainable. You get some success, you fall off. It's a problem, right? I'm talking about sustainability. What I want for a solution is not something that requires you to have even more willpower than we're trying to use up now, because willpower is a finite resource and we run out of it with all these other things that we're going through in a day. So we're faced with these foods, right? I'm not saying you have to give them up. I'm saying limit them and use this system we're going to talk about to help you with that. The 6 simple principles that I talk about, you guys, in that ebook are these. Get in fiber first, and then I've switched it. Prioritize protein should be number 2. Fill with fats, control your carbs, watch the clock, which means some intermittent fasting. Give your body a break from the constant onslaught of insulin. And I'll go over that more in detail here. And then move your body. One of the best ways, besides all of these, that you can do to get yourself more insulin sensitive is to just move. You've got to get those muscles moving. You got to get all that happening so they can open up and be receptive to the insulin that's coursing through your veins, which is trying to deliver energy to your body. So let me check these questions over here real quick. Right. So you guys, so there's a comment over here. Exactly. It was a gastro doctor that found her fatty liver, her regular blood work, and her doctor never had a CAT scan. They never found it. So the devastating thing is, for most of us, we're not being told that all of these things that I just talked about could be insulin resistance. We're going along, we're feeling a little bit off, we're feeling like we have migraines, we have body aches and pains, we're tired all the time, we're hungry all the time. Nobody's addressing, hey, you could be insulin resistant. Let's take a look at, how we can fix the food that's going into your body. And then you end up sick. You end up really sick, and nobody catches it until it's a problem, right? So it's a real problem. And that's devastating for most of us, because who wants to wait till your kidneys have failed or your liver's damaged to figure out that this thing is coursing through your veins? And doctors say that it could happen to you for 20 years before they catch it through fatty liver, through kidney problems, through diabetes. So if we can start to recognize what it is early on and take care of it with real food, then why wouldn't we be doing that? And that's exactly what I'm talking about doing. So there's another message over here. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I didn't. Okay. So you guys, what I'm talking about doing is just 2 real food products that I take at 2 points during the day, and literally it changed the game for me. I worked in medical offices. I worked with my doctors. We tried everything and I couldn't figure it out. They did CAT scans. They did all that. It's a tea I drink in the morning, a pre-meal drink I drink before I have anything, and then some time-based eating. It's not calorie counting. It's not meal replacement plans. It's not any of that. It's it's just real food, bridging the gap between where our food is now and where we need it to be. Because let's be real, doctors are saying that our food is foreign to our bodies in the manner that we're getting it now. It's been manufactured, it's been modified. Our bodies don't know what to do with the food, and we end up with things like insulin resistance. So let's take a step back and say we don't have to change what we're eating, because unless you're going and growing heirloom organic foods, you're caught in that system. Even doing the perimeter shopping and staying away from the middle of the aisles no longer works, because our food has been so modified. I had some slides on that. We can go back to that if anybody wants. Now, what we're doing is, I get all excited, you guys. I get so excited because it's so simple. So with this system, what we're doing is we're doing a little bit of intermittent fasting. How many of you guys get scared when It happens. Kimberly, she's like, yeah, nobody does comment on Facebook and YouTube. They kind of hang out and watch, but it's okay because y'all on TikTok, you comment the heck out of things, and I love it. So, Kimberly, I get it. But it's still okay because I'm still getting the information out there. I'm freezing up now. My internet, I have some of the best internet, and it still freaking does this. Okay, let's get through this live, and then I'm going to go about figuring out how I can clear up my phone to free that up. All right, let me know if it continues. I might have to leave and come back or just finish up on Facebook and YouTube. But look, you guys, intermittent fasting does not have to be scary. It's actually way easier than you think. It is just simple. You have your dinner about 6 p.m. You don't eat after that. No snacking. Just eat what you want. I'm not telling you have to have a salad with a little bit of chicken on the side or rice and broccoli and whatever. Eat what you like. Just do those 6 simple steps. Make sure you're getting in plenty of protein and healthy fats and limit the carbs, and then go about your day. Now, about 8 p.m., your fasting window is going to start. About midnight, your blood sugar will start to normalize. And then that allows the insulin levels to drop. And that's what we're trying to get to, right? To be metabolically flexible, you have to be able to switch between insulin and glucagon. I can explain both those hormones in brief in a second. Now, at 4 a.m., about 4 a.m., your glucagon can come out, your digestive system resets, and guess what? You're starting to get into this phase where that metabolic flexibility is working for you. But what do? Most of us, we wake up and we eat a high-carb breakfast, cereals, grains, fruits, all of that stuff, right? Devoid of the proteins and fats we need, and then our insulin spiked back up. And now we really didn't get any benefit out of that metabolic flexibility part. So what we're doing with the system is you're having the Unimate in the morning, which is what I'm drinking now. And then when you have that in the morning, it shuts down your hunger. It's like 11:30 here. I haven't eaten yet. Last meal I had was at 7 p.m. last night. I'm not hungry, just barely starting to feel hungry. I'll finish my tea, but now that means, how long is this? By noon. So 12 hours was 7, 5. So I'll be fasting for about 17 hours now. And all I've had is the tea. The tea does not break the fast for our purposes. We're talking about keeping insulin levels down. I've done a lot of ketone testing to make sure for my own self that this is working. Now, it's freezing up because people are trying to call me, and it gets on my phone and it freezes you guys for a second. All right, so now what we're doing is drinking the tea, allowing you to hit that 16-hour point where autophagy, another big word that just means you're able to eat up some of those cells that need to go anyway, and that's healthy. So at about that point, then when that's happening and I'm starting to be hungry, I can eat again. I eat in about an 8-hour window. So I'll have my first meal around 12:30, 1 o'clock today, and then I'll have my next meal before 7 o'clock tonight. And that's it. Then I don't do any snacking, and I don't eat in between, and I eat what I want in those meals, right? This is not like, oh, I have to have some crazy diet plan. Yesterday I had butter chicken and rice and some, I don't even know what the name of the salad was. Amazing Indian little dish with chickpeas and whatnot. A little bit tart. Loved it. That's what I had for lunch. Did I have to give up all these foods that I love and not have the basmati rice and all that stuff? No. And then for dinner, I had some leftover teriyaki chicken with, yes, teriyaki sauce on it, and fried rice and some vegetables. That's what I had for dinner. Now, I eat what I want. Today, I have some burgers in there that need to be cooked up, so I'm going to go fry up some bacon, cook a burger, put a couple eggs on it, and then because I'm trying to prioritize protein and whatnot, then I'm going to have some fresh bell peppers, red, yellow, orange, you know, the thing. I eat them like apples. That's going to be my lunch today. Tonight, I'm going to dinner with my daughter-in-law and my grandson, and what was it? He wants either Chick-fil-A or pizza tonight. So that's going to be my dinner. I'm not having to do without. I'm living a real life. I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm just utilizing the tools in between. How do I get off track all the time? So this is what that 16-8 principle looks like, you guys. You're just utilizing the tea in the morning to help you when you're putting out HGH, and this helps actually increase the ketones in your system. Now you're burning fat for fuel. Now you're metabolically flexible. Now the insulin levels are coming down. Now some of these problems are starting to go away. See the gray line here? This is what it normally looks like for us when we're not doing intermittent fasting and when we're not utilizing these tools. The orange line is what's happening with our insulin while we're using the tools. So around noon, I'm going to have this pre-meal drink of this balance before I have my lunch, about 10 minutes before. That's going to help me, and I'm going to explain you why that helps in just a second. Look at though, like I said, this is about having a real life. If you feel like, okay, it's weekend, I want to have pancake breakfast with my family, and you're doing that once in a while, great. Just have a balance before you do that. Maybe you're out celebrating with friends and they're wanting appetizers and drinks. Just have a balance before that. It's real food. It's not something that you can only have. Steak and avocado is fantastic, Kimberly. Absolutely. And I love avocado. I might add some avocado to that plate this morning. And I don't know. I just got back from a trip and haven't gone shopping. If I have tomato left, I'll probably add that in there. Yeah. So like I try to eat clean as much as I can, but I don't limit myself. If my family wants to go to Chick-fil-A, I go to Chick-fil-A, right? And that's just like, I'm not an advertisement for Chick-fil-A, but I'm just saying those things happen, right? We do that. And that's what the goal of the system is that it's making everything flexible and sustainable. So look, here it is. This is the tea. One of the reasons I love the tea is this process that it goes through. 5-step process that's making it as clean and concentrated for you as possible. End of story. It's handpicked, sustainably, ethically harvested, super important to me. But now you have an extract that's concentrated, but we take this extra step and we take it to a Swiss lab where it's gone through a process called HyperPure that removes those environmental toxins, pesticides, molds, PAHs. So now you have an extract that's highly concentrated, extremely pure, really healthy for you. And you can have that Unimate anytime you want. I drink it. I mean, yes, there's a little bit of caffeine in it, but the activity of the caffeine is very different from that of coffee. So I'll even drink my tea at night. I wouldn't advocate for that right away. Like, you get used to the system first, right? And then you can start doing that when you want. I drink my tea 2 to 3 times a day. I mix it in this big mug, and that's my drink, which means that I've cut down on things like I don't drink fruit juice anymore. I used to because I thought it was healthy. I don't drink as much soda pop. I don't drink all of that stuff. It's water or this tea for me, mostly because the tea's giving me so many nutrients and components that are healthy for me. I'm like, why would I drink anything else? So it also suppresses your hunger and cravings by using your stored fat for fuel. Part of the energy you're getting is not from high loads of caffeine. It's from the fact that you're burning your own fat for fuel. When you're burning your own fat for fuel, you have this energy that is unlike anything you've had before because you've been running off of insulin for so long. Now you start burning your own fat for fuel, and it's crazy, amazing energy. The first few weeks I felt that I was like, what the heck is happening? Why do I feel so good, but I don't feel jittery? I don't feel cranky. I don't have that crabby, I drank a bang energy and now I have all this energy, but I'm super crabby. It doesn't do that to you. So yeah, this is new to a lot of people, and that's why I'm here trying to get the word out, because you guys, it's so simple to take care of our health in a more natural way with 2 real food products. And so many people are being able to ditch their statin drugs and those GLP-1 agonists and all of that stuff and actually have a healthy life. So you can actually, if you're already on the system, there's 2 things that I do, and then we're going to jump back into talking about the tea, because I have some questions over here. It says, this is new to me. I want to order extra so I can drink more of the tea during the day. So when you order the system, originally I just was ordering one of the system because for the first several months I just did the system, right? Then I think it was about 6 months in, I was like, wait, yeah, that makes sense. I can have more than 1 tea a day. So you can order the tea alone when you're on the system. I usually have an extra entire system here because let's face it, I go out and do stuff a lot, and that means that sometimes I'm in situations where I'm having that dessert or that appetizer, and so I'll just have an extra balance. Now you guys also, for me, it's really great to have an extra system around to pull from, because when you do have a meal that's high in carbs, say you go for Italian and you're having like stuff that's high in pastas and whatnot, have two balanced before your meal. It's going to amplify the effects and help protect you from all those extra carbs. So we can absolutely do that. I think I have links on my, let me check and see. I'll have to log in here in just a minute and I can switch my link tree up, because there's a way you can order just the extra tea. But if you already have an account and you're already ordering, all you have to do is go to your Unicity account and go to all products and you can find it there. Yeah, yeah, Kimberly, just get with me and I'll send you the links, and let's get you some extra tea, because I love it. By the way, I also use the matcha tea. It's not part of the system, it's an adjunct to it. It helps with anti-cancer and antioxidant activity. Also really great for energy. This one does have a lot of caffeine though. So if you're having heart problems, I would not use this. I'm able to use it now because my high blood pressure got under control, and now I love these two mixed together. So these two mixed together, like especially before the gym, better than any pre-workout I've ever had, and I don't have the crashes, and I know I'm giving myself nutrients, right? So that's gold. All right, back to the Unimate. Kimberly, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you so much. All right, so here's the Unimate. Let's go over it really quick. Some of those components in Unimate that I love, I'm like so amped up about, are these things. They're called adaptogens. So when we're talking about caffeine, this helps with how caffeine acts in your body. Coffee does not have all of these. Coffee has a little bit of chlorogenic acids, like a little bit. This has way more chlorogenic acids than coffee does. I appreciate you too, Kimberly. So these chlorogenic acids help promote neuroprotective gene expression and antioxidant effects in the brain. Chlorogenic acids, those are big things, right? Just know that they're good for the brain. Chlorogenic acids are one of the few components that can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and get good activity to the brain and nutrients to the brain. Not everything crosses that barrier because the brain's really protective of itself. So this helps that. And in doing so, it's helping promote feelings of well-being, and it's supporting healthy blood pressure and glucose levels, and it's promoting weight loss. So that's amazing. And when we look at it, and people tell me all the time, like, oh, or I hear from other people on whatever platform, oh, just go buy herbal mate tea and that will do the same thing. No, it won't. It won't. There's 375 times more chlorogenic acids in this packet because it's an extract that's highly concentrated than in any standard herbal mate tea. Now, also, those are not ethically or sustainably harvested. You don't know if the leaves are overripe, underripe. You don't know what the quantity of those things are. This is standardized to have certain amounts of components in it, and the bagged herbal mate tea just doesn't have that. Plus, who wants to, so say we bring it down to 30, right? Who wants to steep and drink 30 bags of herbal mate tea to get less than a tenth of the effect that you're going to get from one simple packet that you can carry around? I put them in my purse and everything, and I just mix it in water and I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about steeping or carrying tea bags or pre-mixing the drink and then carrying a water bottle. I'm like on the plane when I'm traveling. Look, this goes in my bag. I find a water station. I fill up my little stainless steel mug with water, put this in, shake it up. I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about steeping tea when I need energy. What? Plus, those things are full of pesticides and toxins and molds and all that stuff. It's so doable. It's so doable. So the chlorogenic acids are one component. One of the other components I love to talk about is this theobromine. It's also what they call an adaptogen, helping you deal with the effects of caffeine in the system. So it's best known as a mood boosting molecule and is found in high quality chocolate, right? So but it also helps support healthy blood pressure, cholesterol levels, promotes a feeling of calm, reduced mental fatigue, and improves focus. And this has 3 times the amount of that theobromine as compared to the highest quality dark chocolate. Are you guys getting why I love this Unimate? Look at all these benefits and what it's doing for you. And it's in one simple little bag that I drink and I know what's healthy for me. Like it blows my mind. Like I wish when I was a competitive athlete that I would have had this stuff. I wish I would have had it all those years. It would have been to the gym with me every day. It would have been with me at every competition. It would have never popped me on any drug test. Amazing. I'm like, maybe in my 60s I'll go back to competing. And I'm going to have this as my tool in my tool bag. All right. So the last one I want to talk about is mate saponins. It's a class of molecules called saponins that are specific to this plant, right? They help healthy triglyceride levels and the body's ability to burn fat. So in those saponins are also these triterpenoid saponins that are what is giving everybody the benefit from this reishi coffee, reishi tea that's out there. They're suggested to have human health benefits, including lowering serum cholesterol and providing more antioxidant, anti-cancer activity in the body. Like, are you serious? Like, does fruit juice do that for you? No. Does soda do that for you? No. Is there any other drink that you guys can think of on the planet that's a natural product that gives you all of that, helps with cholesterol levels, help with triglyceride levels, gives you feelings of calm and mental energy, and helps with your heart rate while giving you energy, actually building a healthier heart while giving you energy and giving you antioxidant, anti-cancer properties and getting good stuff to your brain? Like, it's a no-brainer to me. Like, why wouldn't I be drinking it? All right, you guys, this stuff has changed my life. I get so excited. So when you want to drink it is you're going to drink it in the morning, just like I do every morning, to start your day, help you feel satiated, full, start your day off with that energy. Now, because it's a food, you can have it anytime, right? Hey, user 974, blah, blah, blah. I can't name those all out. Welcome to the live. So Kimberly, what was yeah, and you know what, my A1C, so Kimberly says she wants to lower her A1C. Hers was at 11, mine was at 7.4, it's now at 5.3. It took me about 6 months to get it down to around 5.6, but now my A1C is within normal range, and I didn't do anything, medications, any like crazy diets, any of that. I just utilized the system. So it can happen. That's one of the guarantees, by the way, is that it will reduce your blood glucose, it will reduce your triglycerides, it will reduce your A1C in the first 90 days, or you get your money back. Good morning, Denny's. Mimi. Is it Mimi? Do you want me to call you Denny's or Mimi? I'm going to call you Mimi. I mean, Denny's is the first thing I see, but I think Mimi's better. All right. So my blood pressure, you guys, when we're talking about the system, my blood pressure in the first 6 days, I had my first drop of blood pressure in years. So we'd been working on my blood pressure. My blood pressure had not been in normal range since my 20s. I was 56. I started the system when I was 57. At 56 was when my numbers all started going out of range. And it was within 1 year, it was getting so bad, I was terrified. So 150 over 110 was the best charted blood pressure that I had. And I was on dual therapy. 6 days in, I went in for a doctor's visit that had already been pre-scheduled. My blood pressure read at 126 over 84. And I screamed in the doctor's office like a little girl, like, what? So in the first week, it went down. Now, because I had to reverse all the damage of the thickened endothelial cells and the plaques and all of that stuff built up in my body, it took a little over a year for my blood pressure to start to normalize. Again, in January, which was about 19 months on the system, I'd been off of all medications for at least 17 months at that point. And my blood pressure was 120 over 70 in a physical exam at a doctor's office, no medications. So was it worth it for me for over 17 months to stay on a real food system that's helping with everything else in my body to normalize my blood pressure and just have the patience for that to come down naturally? Absolutely, it was. Like, I don't have to worry about taking my blood pressure every day, although I have a little watch that monitors it, because sometimes I get really excited and I'm like, what the hell happened? But yeah, I monitor my blood pressure just with a watch now, because it's within range for me, right? It'll tell me, is it going up, is it going down? And it stays in that about 120 to over 70 range every day. And no more statins, no more dual therapy, no more water pills, no more any of that stuff. And I'm not adding those medications that are damaging my body, just 2 real food products that are helping my body. Okay, so the tea, you guys, by the way, and I have cardiologists who are using this tea. We also now have neurologists, oncologists who are recommending this system because they're realizing that it's probably the most impactful thing that they've seen in their years of medicine. So you can have it between meals to curb snacking like I do. When you're having that craving, like great, you can have this lemon tea. It helps before meetings, tests, like if you're in school or you're doing any of that like extended learning and you need to be focused and on point, drink the tea before, during, and after the test. Drink it when you're doing physical exercise. It's going to help you have energy and stamina during the exercise. A couple of tips. You guys, it doesn't have to be just the tea. You can add things like you can stir a cinnamon stick in it if you're having it hot. You can add stevia to it if you want to change the flavor up a little bit. You can add other non-flavored drinks to it. Just be careful that you're not adding things with calories that are increasing your insulin. So like the cream and you can add this to a vanilla protein. Do that during your eating window. Please don't do it during your fasting window. But you can add things like MCT and coconut oil to it, especially if it's hot, to help with those benefits. It's amazing. And you can do a lot with the tea to just have a difference. So the balance, the second part of this system, has 4. Yeah. So Mimi says it's amazing. She's on 2 pills and wants to see better numbers for her blood pressure and cholesterol. And that absolutely happened for me. I was blown away because I didn't think anything was going to do that. I'd struggled for years to have those kind of results and nothing. I did the medical medium. I did veganism. I did keto. I did all the stuff except for intermittent fasting because I was so hungry all the time. I was terrified by that. Now I intermittent fast all the time and love it because it's so easy when insulin's not running you like a railroad. Yep. So Kimberly says she can barely move. One knee is so bad she can't wait to feel better. Can you have decaf tea with creamer and 0 sweeteners in the morning? Mimi, I would start with just having the Unimate tea and see how that goes. I would be careful with sweeteners, and you can do things like, I would say you can add stevia. Okay, you can add stevia. I would be careful with creamers. You guys, I'm going to pause one moment before we hop back in because there's questions over here. Most of the commercial creamers, even if they're not high in calories, are built on seed oils. Those seed oils are drenched in hexane to make them digest, or to produce them for you, and that's causing toxicity in your body. There's been a lot of these metabolic scientists who say that those seed oils actually cause a reaction in your body that's helping you be more insulin resistant and not insulin sensitive. I'm not an advocate of seed oils or vegetable oils, and that's what those creamers are built on, so I stay away from those. Almond milk with no sweetener. Be careful of the calories. If it has carbohydrates that are increasing your insulin, then no. Okay. Whole milk, maybe a tablespoon of whole milk can be done, but that's about it. Yeah. Almond milk with no sweetener. You can give it a try. I haven't done it. Maybe I should get some almond milk and test it on myself to see if it spikes my. Let me do that because I'm all about, being the guinea pig for you guys. And then let's get back to the balance. Almond milk. I'll buy a little almond milk today and I'll do my ketone test in the morning and see what it does. Stevia is great. I have like 4 or 5 flavors of stevia in my cupboard. I don't use them often, but sometimes when I have the tea hot, I want to add some stevia and just change up the flavor. That's fine. So, okay, back to the balance. There's 4 different patented blends in here, you guys. I'm just going to be really frank. There was a guy that I watched his video, was like, well, it's got this biosphere fiber. That's a made up name. Well, let's be real, okay? It's a patented blend. There is not a name for that blend unless we came up with one. I'm going to encourage people to stop being so gullible, like gullible. If there's something that's patented and it's a blend, and that comes from things in nature, of course they're going to give it a name. Be real. Like that guy, that comment was so dumb to me. I'm like, you just showed your intelligence level. You're supposed to know, and you're like talking idiocy. Okay, so there are 4 patented blends in here. Yeah, exactly, Mimi. Like, what do you want us to do? even natural things, when they discover something in nature, they come up with a name for it, right? It's a made up name, if you will. Okay, so it has these 4 patented blends. There's 7 different types of fiber in there, you guys. I sometimes say 9, I sometimes say 7. I've heard both. I know there's at least 7. What the balance is doing is it's helping those glucose spikes And when we talk about those glucose spikes, you guys see this drop in sugars here? That's called reactive hypoglycemia, where your blood sugar goes up really high and then insulin does its job really well and it drops your blood glucose, and now you have that chilled feeling, now you have that hungry feeling, now you have that tired and I need more energy feeling, and your insulin is still rampant, and so the insulin is blocking your fat breakdown, it's blocking the fat burning and is stimulating fat storage, but you're being cued to eat more because your energy level just dropped. What? That's what's happening to you. So what balance does is it starts to mediate that, right? So the top one is what's happening when you're normally eating glucose and carbs and all of that. It's constantly spiking your insulin and it's keeping your insulin high, because I say insulin is like a soldier. Like you keep an onslaught on our little city, I'm going to stay out here and guard all night because I know you're coming back. That's what we're doing to our bodies. We're pumping it so full of sugar so constantly every time we eat, every 2 hours, and snack and do all this stuff, that we're just making our insulin stay high. What happens with the intermittent fasting with balance is that we're allowing those insulin levels to come down and those sugar levels to never go as high. Now you don't end up with the reactive hypoglycemia. You don't end up with all that stuff, and you stay in a more normal range. Okay. So then this is what balance is and what it does. These are the 4 proprietary blends in Biosphere Fiber. Now, they are patented. No one else can create these. No one else can do these. We've had companies try to look, I'm going to stop a second. We've had companies try to duplicate what we're doing. Why won't this turn around? It hates me right now. So we've had companies try to duplicate what we're doing, and you know what they came back and said? It would cost the product that they would produce, which is just the pre-meal drink, they would have to charge about $500 a month. This is from other companies trying to reproduce what we're doing. And yet we're producing it for less than 1/5 of that. So is it really expensive? No, it's not. And other people have tried and they just can't do it. So it took about 20 years to come to these conclusions, right? To this product. So the Biosphere Fiber is a unique blend of fibers that has 5 different sources of fiber that help support cholesterol levels and slow the conversion of high glycemic carbohydrates, which means that in effect, we're taking a high glycemic carb and we're making it a medium glycemic carb. And that's what the studies, the scientific studies say. Okay, so they're just they're real fibers, but every fiber in your system or that you eat has a different action in your body. All fibers are not equal. The next one is the Balance 7X technology, and that's a specialized blend of plant-derived polysaccharides or viscous fibers. Now, viscous fibers are water soluble and they'll thicken up in your system. So those viscous fibers actually create this gel matrix. And so it starts to thicken up. You want to drink the pre-meal drink quickly, because if you wait, it's going to thicken up. Now, when it hits the gut enzymes and the acids in the gut, or the gut acids in the gut, it's going to start to thicken up even more. So then what happens is now you're feeling full, your gut is soothed. Anybody with acidic gut, because I have that. This stuff helps me with my acidic gut. It helps calm it down. If I'm like super anxious or anything and I'm feeling like, oh, I don't use antacids anymore, I just drink an extra Balance, because it goes in and it coats the gut, starts, encapsulating those acids, and I feel much better. And I know I'm not adding something in. The antacids are really damaging to you, by the way. So those viscous soluble fibers form that thick gel matrix, and what they do is they slow down. So not only are you feeling more full, but it's slowing down the delivery of all that food, the carbohydrates and the fats that you're eating, so that it hits your body more naturally, so it's not spiking. Okay, so it's slowing down that delivery. So now your blood sugars never go up as high. Now you're staying hungry, or staying fuller longer. So now you're more satiated and you're not being cued to snack when you don't need to. Now you eat this big meal and you're like, oh, I'm full. But you're not a half an hour later like, oh, I need to eat something. Now you're like, dude, I can totally make it 6 hours without eating because I still feel the effects of that meal I just ate. And it's been a long time since most of us have had that. Hey, Florida cop. So the third proprietary formula in this is called the Cardio Matrix. And so look, it's called phytosterols. Just know that they're plant substances that help support the body's cholesterol absorption process. And that blend can help limit the absorption of cholesterol from the digestive process check out chrysanthemum. There's a lot of studies on that it does exactly that. So now not only are you getting 7 different types of fiber, you're getting this plant substance that helps with the cholesterol. And then the scientists were like, well, how can we make this even better? How can we do even better for our people? We're going to add this vitamin complex that's specifically designed to aid in proper digestion and optimize the conversion of food to fuel. And the studies on that show that when they added that specific complex to these fibers and phytosterols, that it actually, oh God, why can I never think of the word when it's time? Amplified the effects of those fibers and nutrients in this packet. So now it's complete. Now we have something that your body can really use. Now you have something that you're drinking before you have all of this food that's been modified and manufactured that can make it act more naturally in your body, so your body can just do what it's meant to do. We're not pumping it full of medications that are forcing actions. No, we're supporting your body and digesting what you're eating so that it can happen more naturally without all those negative side effects. So that's the system. A tea in the morning, a pre-meal drink before you eat anything, and that's it. Oh, Stephen, you know what? I was a world champion athlete. I worked out 6 days a week, 3 hours a day. I was on a strict meal plan written by a bodybuilder coach, and I exercised my ass off. I couldn't lose the weight, and the diabetes was increasing. So that's not a real answer. I appreciate your answer. It can work for some people, but for the people in here who that's not working for, like me, who doctors, no, not most people, some people. Doctors were telling me there was nothing they could do for me. Doctors who knew that I was a world level athlete, by the way, my joints were being eaten up by this thing. It just doesn't work for everybody. So it's great. And I want people to have something that's sustainable and really changes their life. Am I an advocate for getting up and moving, doing exercise, whatever that looks like, whether it's walking, swimming, dancing, move your body? Yes, I'm an advocate for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you guys, I do want to go over this because I never get to this part. But we do have partnerships with all of these and more. So like Johns Hopkins University Medicine University, Columbia University Medical Center, Cleveland Clinic, the University of Sydney. So both the world's top heart health clinic and the clinic that came up with the glycemic index, those are all, we have partnerships with them. Cleveland Clinic, I already mentioned, UNLV, BYU. We also have these things that in some countries it's absolutely necessary for them, because if they're working and they get tested and they have any medication in them that shows up on these lists, they can be in trouble. So NSF, Informed Choice, and Cologne List, they're all there. It's also in the PDR. We do have studies with American Heart Association, American Diabetes Association, and that's it. So Alan, I want to address something right now. So we're not in South Africa yet. We are in South Africa now. I'm going to give you the truth about it though. We've had to really work with your country to get it there. The only way we can get it in there right now is you have to buy what's called a 10 pack, which is the equivalent of 10 systems, and sign up as a distributor. That's not our choice. That's the negotiations we had to go through. So if you have people that can come together, one person wants to sign up and you all want to buy a 10 pack, or you have someone, get a hold of me. I have information as to where you can call and do that. You cannot use my link right now. We're still in negotiations. It just recently happened. But understand that that's the parameters. You know, you don't get to just buy one system like we do here in the US. And that's, again, not us. That's things out of our control. But if you're interested and you want to do that, Alan, use the WhatsApp, contact me. I can get you the information. But just be prepared that that's what it is. And so just so you're prepared as well, before we both take up each other's time, I have that here. It ends up being, so that 10 pack is going to be 27,990 ZAR. So that's where it starts. Well, if I could go to South Africa and not have it confiscated and make it worth my trip, then yeah. But if you have somebody in South Africa, there are a few people who can get it in there for you. Do that. If you want to work up some ways to do it, that's fine. We are available there now, but there are more stringent parameters than other countries. So the big thing is, without taking up this live, you guys just contact me and I can help you with that. But understand that it's not just a 1-month supply that they're requiring. And again, this is out of our hands, you to be a distributor and purchase 10 to bring it in. So if you're up for that, then get a hold of me. I'll help you out. But otherwise, it's just not there yet. You just watched a video about your weight. I don't understand that, Trista. Give me a little more information. I'm going to keep talking here and get through the rest of my slides because I'm on task, but I want to answer these questions too. So you guys, I'm super happy about those partnerships that we have, right? A couple of things I've already mentioned. Don't drink your carbs, eat them. You guys, if you're going to have fruit, eat the fruit, don't juice. That's really damaging, and I can go over why. If anyone wants to know why, I'll go over that again. You just have to tell me juice, and I'll go over it. Now, one of the other things that's really important to me is, look, we own our own manufacturing facilities. We own our own science facilities. We harvest the products from farmers, comes directly to us. It's not sitting in some warehouse where you don't know what you're getting. By the way, I learned from one of the scientists recently that a lot of these products go into a warehouse and they're botanicals, right? So there's some botanicals that look and have the same look and feel as the botanical you're looking for. And in those steeped tea bags and all that, you don't always know what you're getting. Our company actually tests the botanicals to make sure that they're the right thing before they ever put it into the product. You're not getting that assurance from other people, because when you think you're getting a certain kind of tea, you may be getting something else and it doesn't have the components you need. Yeah, the juicers, you guys, I feel bad because like Jack LaLanne did it. I was a big proponent of juicing back in the day till I understood what was happening. The ingredients are all found there. If you go to my website, it's there. And then if you go to the Buy Now page, they list it all there. So I can't go through they're all full food products. So, oh, you guys, while I'm talking about that, I do want to, because it just spurned my memory, right? I don't care. I'm going to say it. When I was at the warehouses last week, they were actually in production of Lime Balance. Now, I heard it on good authority that the Lime Balance is going to be in a tube much more like this, so it's easier to get into your water bottle. So instead of being a fat packet, it's going to be a longer, thinner packet, so it fits in the top of a water bottle. But hopefully you'll be having the choice of lime as well as orange soon. And by the way, when I mixed the Lime Balance with like the Vanilla Complete, it tastes like key lime pie. Yeah, it's good. And you can do that. Like if you're having a meal that you feel like is not high enough in protein and it's more in carbs, I just add a scoop of protein into my balance and then I'm good. Marcella, were you one of my customers? Because what I would have told you is start at 12 hours. And then as you're getting headaches because of the insulin resistance. So giving up on it soon is just getting you back to where you were, and it's not helping the problem. So I would have coached you to start with 12 hours and then work your way up to the 16 hours, because something is better than nothing. So honestly, I would give it another shot and just see if you can get the coaching to help through it, because as long as you're not doing this, you're going to go the other way. Those headaches are going to be even more present in a few years as you're becoming more insulin sensitive or insulin resistant. So, Kimberly, okay, so I need to put up a link. Kimberly, if you're already ordering, just text me after and I'll send you a link to the protein. Okay. I missed a question, didn't I? Okay, so there's all of that. Now, you guys, and the other thing is you can just log into your Unicity and go to the all products. Everything on our product page is listed by alphabetical order. The protein is called Complete, so you just scroll down to the C's and you'll see chocolate and vanilla Complete. I'm going to stop. Florida Cop's my best helper. are complete. It's called complete because it has 5 different sources of protein in it. So it's not a singular source of protein. So there's slow acting, there's quick acting, there's different proteins in there. Again, the company really believes in keeping things balanced. So when you do that protein, you're going to have some that's going to hit your system right away. There's going to have some that's going to hang out and act a little bit slower in the body. So now it's just a really good source of protein, lower in carbs. It's really fine as well. It mixes up easy and it tastes great. You can do that too. Yeah. Like I want you to start the protein, but don't yeah. Kimberly, go to Florida and then you and Florida Hot can get enough people for me to come down there. I want to go to Florida. I really do. I mean, regardless, I want to go to Florida. Okay. So you guys, all right, so we do have some guarantees, and I think this is important for people to know because there's so many things out there and you just don't know in life, right? First of all, we have this 90-day money back guarantee I talk about all the time. If it doesn't work for you, whether your A1C, your blood glucose, and your triglycerides didn't go right for you, or you just weren't happy, you get that guarantee. So 90 days, why not try it? If it's real food and it's not hurting you, but it's helping you, why not spend 90 days to see what can happen for you? Because if at the end you're unhappy, you get your money back. You get the lowest price guarantee. You're never going to pay more for it than I do, ever, 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 ever. Okay. And then you get that triple testing. Remember, I was talking about how they test it. So they not only test it before everything gets put together, so all the ingredients get tested, especially the botanicals, before they come together, but then it gets tested after it's all come together so that we make sure that what we say on the box, the components and the amounts that we say are at minimum in that packet before it comes out to you. And trust me, I've seen it happen. If it doesn't happen that way, that packet never goes out to market. So you have those guarantees, and I think that's impactful. You don't get that kind of guarantee on your metformin. You don't get that kind of guarantee on your herbal mate tea. You don't get that kind of guarantee on this Metamucil stuff. And I want to talk about that too, because man, I get it. Everybody's trying to do their job, right? But the Metamucil just kills me. So you can actually, you guys, Kimberly, those of you guys who are doing the system, I don't talk about this enough. If you do the subscribe when you order, you're going to save $5. You're going to save $10 on shipping. You get that free product the first month. There's a loyalty program. So that's saving you at least $15. And right now you get a $42 product for free. That's like $57 off just on your first month. But you can also refer others. And I have a lot of people doing this. You get an email from the company with your first order that gives you a number. You can refer others, give them your number. That's going to start banking $10 a month on product credit for you for the next month. So if you refer 5 people, friends, family, mom, brother, daughter, sister, coworker, now you're saving $50 on your product just because you shared something that's healthy with them and helping them with their health too. Okay, so when you refer people you care about, you just ask me. You're just going to ask them permission. Don't go up and say, hey, you have to do this, because they're just going to be like, nah, no, I don't. So just tell them what's been happening with you. Ask permission to share it and suggest they try it. Most people will because they know, like, and trust you, and then you're helping your family out. So these are some tips for success. I'm just going to, those are all in my ebook. I do want to come back to this, you guys. Toss the scale. Like, okay. What I mean by toss the scale, I want to pause for a second, is this is not a weight loss program. You lose weight as an action of you becoming more healthy, but you're also having this action where when you're insulin resistant, it means your muscles aren't taking up the insulin. It means other cells like ligaments and tissues and bone aren't taking up the glucose it needs for energy to build, right? So you're having some muscle loss, some weight, some tissue loss, some bone loss. Why am I trying to say muscle twice? I must need to go to the gym. So when you start becoming more insulin sensitive and those muscles can take up that energy and those tissues can take up that energy, you start putting on lean mass. That lean mass per volume weighs less than fat. So you may have this thing going on where you're losing inches, you're losing size, but the weight on the scale isn't changing because you're putting on lean mass instead of fat. So then at some point it starts to show up as weight loss as that scale tips. And now you have more lean mass, but the fat's coming off more rapidly. So The scale, do I step on the scale now? Yes, I step on the scale to make sure I'm maintaining. I don't advocate for people to step on the scale in the beginning. Like one of my best guys, Jason, did not step on the scale. Um, did not step on the scale for a year, and or not a year, for God's sakes, a month, and he lost like 60 pounds because he just stayed focused on what he was doing and trusted the problem. So Kelly, I'm the same. I'm postmenopausal, right? So menopause causes a lot of issues. Menopause also increases your insulin resistance. So I've lost 50 pounds postmenopausal, and I'm now at the size I'm at. I've been here for about a year and a half. Um, so now it's time to look at other things. I've talked about this before, and I want to address this today, you guys, too. I am not ever going to claim that this is end all be all, right? I am not telling you that this is everything you ever need to do. I'm saying we're addressing the main cause of the problem. If this is causing most of our health problems and we can clear that out, then what other problems we have or issues we have can be addressed more reasonably by our physicians. Menopause is a whole other thing, and I need to do some videos on that because it's hard. There's a whole lot going on. So I have a question. How do we order? I'm going to go back to that right now. So you guys, to order, we're going to go to here on TikTok, on Facebook, and YouTube. You guys just scan that QR code. But on TikTok, you guys, you're just going to go tap on my picture at the top, tap again. There's red lights here, and then there's this link. Your link will look black. Mine looks red. I don't know why it does. But if you click on that link, it's going to take you to my landing page, my link tree. Right here is the Order the Feel Great system. That's where you're going to go to order. You will get, just click on the buy now. You'll get the whole system. My computer's running slow. There we go. So you're going to get 30 of the tea and 60 of the pre-meal drink. You get to choose between lemon, lemon ginger, and black. Black is going to be going away. Most of you, I would start with lemon, or if you like the spice of ginger, do the lemon ginger. I love the lemon ginger hot. I love the lemon cold. Do whichever one feels good to you. There we go. Florida Cop, I feel like I should pay you. All right. So, and by the way, he is not paid. So then I would just stick with the monthly subscription, like I just said. You get free shipping. You get $5 off. You get that cancel at any time. Right now, you're getting this amazing omega-3 Life Resolve, which has 1,700 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. It's a $42 value. It's helping support inflammatory responses in the body. And it includes a dose of natural wintergreen to help minimize the fishy aftertaste associated with most omega-3s. I talk too fast and I ingest too much air when I'm talking. So I get this but I've never had that fishy taste, that fishy odor in my mouth after using our omega-3s. And I've done other omegas and had that, you kind of are burping up this fishy taste or smell for an hour or two later. Never happened. Okay. Mimi lemon is great. You guys, it depends on where you're at in the country. It can take, most places that are close to the facilities, it takes about 3 days to get it. Some places, sometimes it's taken up to 10. You will always have it within 10 days. We have a manufacturing facility in Georgia, and we have one in Vegas. So we may be opening up another one because the demand has gotten so much, but the company is really trying to respond. So any other questions from you guys? And also know this, when you use my link to order, it's not just the 3 guarantees you're getting, you get me. So you get my number, I send you out emails, I send you out texts, I'll send you out a video to help you get started. You get to call me or text me when your stuff comes in. We have a conversation, and then we talk as much or as little as you need to support you along the way. Okay? So I'm not just here to hand you a product and be like, oh, now you never get to talk to me. I'm here to help you. So know that too. Also, I do want to go over, you guys, because I know sometimes people, I have one friend who told a friend. And so the friend was like, yeah, well, I don't want to go. I don't want to be linked to somebody. Like, I don't bother you. And most of us don't. But so he went and bought it on Amazon. He ended up spending over $100 a month more on Amazon. And when you do that, by the way, there are no authorized sellers on Amazon, eBay, Walmart, any of those. So you're not getting the 90-day money back guarantees. Okay, you're not getting a coach, you're not getting any of that, and you're spending way more. Why would you do that? Just order from an authorized seller. Make sure that you have those assurances. So yes, the omega-3 it's not a med, it's just an omega-3, and actually it's really a great adjunct to your blood pressure regimen. Okay, so that's going to actually help you with blood pressure. Also, I have ADD, I'm on the spectrum, I have all this stuff. Those omega-3s, there's been science, not necessarily just our omega-3s, but omega-3s have been proven to help with those ADD symptoms and those spectrum symptoms. So it's just really great all around for blood pressure, for all of that. They just have some really great properties. Yep. And you guys, so let's do that right now. I keep forgetting that I'm still live on Facebook, and so I keep leaving these pages up while I'm talking to you guys. But I do want to go into the PDR. So is there a drug you guys want? Do you guys want me to look up any medication on the PDR? Because we're going to go to the PDR right now. I want to show you that we are in the PDR. Now, the PDR is the prescriber's digital reference. When I worked in medical offices, this was in a book, and I would have to sit down and look up medications and cross-reference them. That tells you how old I am, right? Now it's all in a digital reference. So it's no longer the prescriber's desk reference. It's the prescriber's digital reference. Every medication that your doctor gives you should be in here. Now this is a third party reference. So you can't buy, beg, or steal your way in here. You have to have clinical studies and all of that to be here. So we don't want the injection. We just want, like, we're going to go Synthroid, because that's where most people, levothyroxine is just the generic Synthroid. So here it is. This is Synthroid in here. So we're going to look at that. So it talks about the prescribing information, indications and usage, dosage and administration. This one's way better than like the GLP-1 agonist and the statin drugs, right? It has some warnings and precautions. There are serious risks related to overtreatment and undertreatment with Synthroid. You're constantly having to have it checked. But what happens if you have Hashimoto's? Those thyroid levels are changing all the time, and now they're telling you to titrate your Synthroid. And how do you do that when your thyroid levels are changing every single day? So we'll look up metformin in a second. But all of this information is in here, right? Full prescribing information, and then indications and usage, dosage and administration. All of this information. See how long this is? Guidelines for pregnancy patients, all of this stuff, warnings and precautions, serious risks related to overtreatment, all of this stuff, adverse reactions, fatigue, increased appetite. Do you know that your thyroid medication can increase your appetite? Weight loss, heat intolerance, both ends of the spectrum, right? Gastrointestinal diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, all of that. And then there's drug interactions. So there are all these drugs that you should not take when you're on Synthroid, or be careful of when you're on Synthroid. I'm going to pop over to balance really quick because I want you guys to see this, and then we're going to look up metformin. But balance, unicity balance, right here. See that first thing, notice that we're in the prescriber's digital reference. There are very, very few natural products in the prescriber's digital reference. We have 18. 18. Herbalife doesn't have it. GNC doesn't have it. Kirkland doesn't have it. They don't have anything in here. So we're going to look up at balance, and it's going to give you all the information. So you guys can go look this up anytime you want, right? You can go see. You can tell your doctor, hey, you can look it up in the PDR, and they're going to be able to go find it. So this gives you all the information. It's description, the benefits and research. You're going to notice that there's research by the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association. But what we're going to get down to, is the suggested use, the safety and warnings. The only thing with balance is that you may have some mild gastrointestinal discomfort because you're increasing your fiber intake, and that normally goes away within the first month. Here's the thing, if it doesn't go away in the first month, stay the course, because that's an indicator of how unhealthy your gut is, right? If it's lasting past a month, it's not something wrong with the product. It's that your gut has been so unhealthy, you need extra time. Stay the course. Thank you, Cindy. Okay, so we're going to come back. Cindy's just said, just catching me, looking beautiful in pink. Continue to do well. Thank you, honey. Okay, so I want to go back to the PDR again. So here we go. And when we come down to, there are no contraindications or adverse reactions, or, just the safety and warning, right? So it's safe to use with other drugs, with, whatever your doctor has you on. Now, this is the packaging is the first couple of iterations. It's been around for like 15 years. So we've gone through some things. It's now called balance, because what we're doing is balancing out what we need from our food that's not there now. So I'm going to look at metformin. That's the one that you asked about, right? Somebody said metformin, I think. Yep. Okay. I was given metformin as well, and that stuff was horrible. I couldn't tolerate it. And I'm like, why are you pumping this stuff in your body in the first place? So let's look at metformin. There's all these boxed warnings. Can you imagine how many people I've talked to that are type 1 diabetics? And even though it's in here that it's not suitable for type 1 diabetics, doctors are giving metformin to type 1 diabetics because type 1 diabetics can become insulin resistant, just like the rest of us, for the same reasons. It's a long story, but yes, they can. So, so there's these dosage and indications, and I just want you to notice how long this is. Remember how short and clean and simple balance was? Look at, if you're already having liver problems, kidney problems, you should be careful with this, right? But what you're taking it for is what's causing those problems, but this is going to exacerbate those problems. So what? And then it's got all these contraindications and precautions. Right there is the diabetic ketoacidosis or type 1 diabetes. All of this stuff, if you're already having diarrhea and vomiting, you shouldn't be doing this. Kidney disease, again, is related, alcoholism, all this stuff. All these things. You should not be doing or having this medication if you're having that. There was none of that for balance. So adverse reactions like vasculitis, angioedema, rhabdomyolysis. I have some information on fats and protein and what this happens here. So hypoglycemia, hypertension, really you are having high blood pressure and you shouldn't be taking this, but yet you have high blood pressure and diabetes and the doctors give you this. Vitamin B12 deficiency, folate deficiency, all of this stuff. And then we get down to the mild ones like diarrhea, infections, headache, nausea, vomiting, muscle pain, abdominal pain, dizziness, all of this stuff. And yes, you're going to experience some weight loss, right? Hopefully. But you have all of these other things. And then we look at all of these drugs that it can interact with. I'm not here to be a pharmacist. I'm just showing you the information that's here, right? So you look at all of this. And you guys, I'm not even a fourth of the way through the page. That's metformin. So what would you rather do? Metformin with all of that, or balance, which is naturally helping your body by replacing what's missing out of our food and helping your body do what it's supposed to do naturally without forcing it into these things. Oh, so I'm going to caution you. If you, NDN, I'm going to give you a little tip, okay? So if you're finding that you're too full and you have to wait 15 minutes, understand that your stomach starts digesting out after 20 minutes. So why you're not feeling as full is because part of this is digested out. Maybe what you can do is split the balance and take some of it before, and don't mix the other up until about halfway through the meal or towards the end of the meal, and then drink the other balance so it still is encapsulating and doing its job. 15 minutes is fine, but don't go past 15 minutes. And if you feel like it's making you too full, then you can try that. But that's one of the things, is that you should feel full because we've been overeating. So there's that. Anything else in the PDR you guys want to see? Let's look at semaglutide. And then I want to talk about that a little bit, and then I'm going to hop off because it's been almost an hour and a half. All right, you guys, this is semaglutide, which semaglutide is the basis. It's the same activation as like Mounjaro, Trulicity, all of that stuff, Ozempic, Rybelsus, all of that. So I'm just going to look it up here, and I want you guys to see what's happening with that. There are some doctors who will say, oh, this is great stuff, and then I want to talk to you and tell you what Dr. Bickman said. So there are all these warnings, and a lot of them are big words. Just know that, if you're having thyroid problems, which is typical with insulin resistance, you shouldn't be doing this. So why are we giving you medications that are exacerbating problems you're already having and not addressing the root cause of the problem that's causing all the problems? Why? When this is what's happening to you. So it has all these dosage and indications, all of this stuff. And then again, this is just really, really long, right? Administration, how to take it. Ours is simple. It's a packet. You mix it in water and you drink it. So then there's contraindications and precautions if you're having heart problems, thyroid cancers, type 1 diabetes again, and yet they're giving it to you as type 1 diabetics, hypoglycemia, pancreatitis, which is caused by the insulin resistance, and now they're giving you something that's not helping but increasing that. Oh, you guys. Then there's all this stuff. Gallstones, gallbladders, diabetic retinopathy, you're losing your eyesight, kidney failure, kidney impairment, schizophrenia, depression. Really? Those are things are in here. So just be aware. Then there's all these adverse reactions, moderate, mild, even mild is nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, headache, throat issues, fatigue, dizziness, flatulence. So anxiety, it's increasing your anxiety when you're already anxiety ridden from the insulin resistance. What? And then there's all this drug interactions. This one I am about halfway down the page now, but so that's what you're getting when you're doing those GLP-1 agonists. Okay, so let's talk about those really quick because I really want you guys to be educated about this stuff and what's really happening in your body. I'm not a doctor. I'm just imparting information I've gotten from metabolic scientists and doctors. Okay, so with the GLP-1 agonists, yeah, they do, really. So the food industry makes you sick. They send you to the pharmacy industry, and then they tell you to eat every 2 hours. So you're continuing to eat more food. You're continuing to get more sick. You take medications, which send you back for more medications, and then you just are caught in this cycle. And trust me, there's a lot of interactivity between the food industry. Trust me. You guys can look it up. The links between the food industry and big pharma are heavy and strong. If you have the time and you want to jump down that rabbit hole, the information is out there, but they do. And by the way, about 82% of the food industry's budget goes to making you want their food. So when we say it's delicious and delectable and it's arguably addictive, they spend a big amount of their budget on how can we make this taste so good that they want to come back and have more? How can we trigger this thing in their brain and in their body that they want to eat more of all of that? And then you end up with insulin resistance, and then you end up on all the stuff. And yes, then they've stripped out the fiber and the phytonutrients and the enzymes and the proteins that you need in order to deal with that more naturally. So that's why I'm on fire for all of this, okay? But GLP-1 agonists, and like, I am not the scientist. I'm trying to remember and impart the information I was given. I want to be really clear about that. But Bickman says, and I do have the video, I just need to clip it and have time to do all of that. But he said, number one, the first thing I want you to know is when he was asked the direct question, what do you tell people who are on GLP-1 agonists or who have family or friends who are either on it or trying to get on it? His answer was, get them off of it as quickly as possible. It's killing them. Okay, so GLP-1 agonists are helping you become more insulin sensitive, and I can't name all the actions of that. But one of the things that they're doing in being more insulin sensitive, Florida Cop, let's talk. I will send you that video. I trust you, so I will send it to you. Just, you have to swear me a blood oath and know that I will come find you and hunt you down if you let it leak out, because we just had some really big parameters we had to agree to get that video. Mostly because he's talking as a scientist and not an advocate for unicity, right? So I want you to view that video and understand that he's speaking as a scientist, and with no, like, that's it. So, and I shouldn't have said that on live, but yeah. See what you get for helping me? Okay, so all right, you guys, what Dr. Ben Bickman said is get them off of it as quickly as possible. One of the reasons that this is all working with those is, number one, it's making you nauseous, so nauseous that you don't want to eat. That wears off in about 2 years. If you're lucky, it's about 2 years, and then your hunger comes back with a fervor. You still haven't addressed the root cause. Now you're sicker than ever. And in the meantime, it's harming your kidney, your liver, your heart, all of those things we just looked at, right? Right, Denny? That's part of why it's making you not hungry, because you're like, I don't want to eat. I just don't want to eat. So, yeah, Ozempic is horrible. I mean, that's my opinion. What I'm stating is my opinion, okay? Just need an email, bud. So, the other thing he said is he went through this big thing about teaching us about hypertrophic fat cells and hyperplastic fat cells. So one means it's growing really big, and the other means it's duplicating. One of the things that happens with things like Ozempic and these GLP-1 activators is that they are multiplying your fat cells. So now there's more places for that insulin to be stored. So instead of it pumping up one big fat cell, it's pumping it into more little fat cells. That's part of why you're becoming more insulin sensitive. But at the end, when you start feeling like, oh, my hunger's coming back, and they either want to give you more, which is just going to create more of the problem, or you decide you're finally going to get off of it, now you've doubled the fat cells in your body, apparently doubled the fat cells in your body. Now you have the hunger. Now you have the root cause still going on. What's going to happen? Can anybody tell me what's going to happen after 2 years of being on any of those when your hunger comes back and your fat cells are doubled? Do you know what's going to happen to you? Does anybody want to tell me? I know you know the answer. The answer is you're going to overeat again, and you're going to gain the fat back, and you're going to gain even more fat back. Yes, you're going to blow up. So you're going to get it back and then some. Yes, exactly that. So, but now you've gained the weight back. Now you've almost doubled the weight you gained back. You are having problems with your liver, with your kidneys, with your throat, with your heart, with all of this stuff, with your thyroid, for a couple years of weight loss. So is that worth it? You guys, I mean, I honestly care. Like, if I thought, I'm going to swear an oath to you right now, like if I thought those medications were actually doing the good that other people think they are without damaging you, I would absolutely say, go try it. But I can't, in all honesty and integrity, I can't tell you that. That's exactly why I'm here. And in fact, when I did work in medical offices, if the doctors were giving people things or they were struggling and I knew of a more natural solution to something, I would go into my doctor and say, hey, doc, patient X is in here. This is what they're struggling with. This is what you've given them. I happen to know that this kind of works. Are you okay? And I would explain it to the doctor, and she would be like, yeah, go tell them that, and allow me to give them a more natural solution. That was the one doctor who would not allow a pharmaceutical rep in her office. Okay. The rest were like, no, give them the medications. So I've been talking about stuff like this for years. Yes, I've tried berberine, I've tried turmeric, I've tried all the stuff, right? And it wasn't working for me as quickly as I needed it to. That's why I talk about the system, because this did. And I was just, I get it. If you're kind of on the fence and you don't know and you're not that committed, it may or may not be the thing for you. Let's be real. But if you're like me and you feel like I have to change something and I want something more natural, this is what I did: a tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat anything. This is my day. This is literally my day. I have a set in my purse. No matter where I go, it goes with me. And that's it. I can mix it in water. I can stop by a grocery station or in the airport or whatever and grab some water, and I'm still good. Okay. Now, I want to find this list that I had. I kind of showed it last night, you guys, but here's the thing. I'm just going to go over really quickly some of the things that I was suffering with when I started. And I started making this list as things got better, because if you hear yourself in this list, I want you to reach out to me, right? If you hear you. So I'm gonna push this to the side so I can read this list because I can never remember it all. I started compiling this as I started feeling better. So I started this because I had diabetes type 2 and I wanted to lose some weight, right? Here we go. I also had hypertension or high blood pressure. I had too many fats in my body or hyperlipidemia. I had chronic fatigue, chronic pain, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. I had lost 3 joints, had another joint that needed to be replaced, does not have to be replaced now. I had edema and neuropathy and diabetic retinopathy. I was losing my eyesight. I had alopecia. My hair was falling out. I had eosinophilic esophagitis, an allergic reaction that closed my throat off every single day and sent me to the hospital a couple of times a year. I had sleep apnea. I had allergies. I had anxiety. I had depression. I had brain fog and vertigo and periodontitis. And I was postmenopausal with all those symptoms. And I had bloating and knee replacement surgery and acanthosis nigricans, or the darkened skin patches on my neck and my elbows and my knees. I had melasma. I would get spotty skin in the summertime. I had skin tags, muscle cramps, Hashimoto's, PCOS, restless legs. I had gallstones and ended up losing my gallbladder. And I had ADD, and I've also been diagnosed as high functioning autistic. Now, the longer I'm on all of this stuff, this system, and doing this, all of those things have gotten better or gone away. Mimi, that's exactly where I was when I started. And that's why I say I felt like my back was against a wall. I had done, my friend Nurse Stephanie had sent me a book, The Medical Medium. And I poured through that book. I wrote down all of my symptoms that I could think of. I looked it all up in his book. I spent days creating this big spreadsheet of all the foods and all the stuff that I needed to do according to him to relate to me and take care of that. And every morning I got up and I put kale and ginger and lemon juice and blueberries and all this stuff, berberine and all this stuff in this shake that I would drink every single morning. And it all tasted fine until I started adding black seed oil. Then it was like, what? But so there was that. And yet on the other counter, there was 10 medications that the doctor was giving me to try and save my life, right? One day I walked into my kitchen, and it was after I started the system, and I looked and I'm like, what in the hell has your life become? What are you doing? And so I literally pulled up the garbage can, because this is my personality. I'm not advocating for anyone else to do this. My personality, I was like, F this, I'm done with all of that. I did the celery juice, but I'm allergic to celeries. So I started having hives every day, and it exacerbated the eosinophilic esophagitis. All of that was happening to me. I took my arm because of the ADD. If you have ADD, you know that everything has to be in front of you or you forget it. So my counter would have all these medications on it so that I would walk by and go, oh yeah, I got to take that. Okay. So I pulled up a garbage can and I swept all of those medicines into the garbage, and I never took them again. Now, again, I'm not advocating for anyone else to do that, but that was over 21 months ago, and I haven't taken a medication outside of an occasional Tylenol since then. My life is completely different. And my Ninja is back in the box, packed away, and I don't have all of that stuff on my counter that I'm running to the grocery store every 2 or 3 days for. And I'm not struggling with that. I'm worrying about when I travel, how am I going to have that shake every morning? Because all I do is this. And I don't have to have that spreadsheet of all the things that I need to have, ingest, and do to impact my health. That's why I'm on here every day talking about that. That's why I'm here to help people, because if you're going through this struggle and you're doing everything like I did, it's like, how am I supposed to sustain my health and my life living like this? Now, look, if you want to do the shakes and stuff too, great. Be as healthy as you can be, but it doesn't have to be that hard. Thanks, you guys. But it's really not about me. I'm here because I want you to understand that you can do it too. And it doesn't have to be that hard. You don't have to be that nerd, that autistic, hyper-focused person who's creating this crazy spreadsheet from hell about everything I need to do in a day. And I literally had lists on my fridge that would be like, these are the things you have to take. And I would print it out for every week to check off and make sure I was getting everything in a day that I needed to do. And then let's look at the other side of that. So all of that stuff I was buying, all of that stuff I was doing, 10 medications here and all of this other stuff on the other counter. Do you think it cost me more than $150 a month for that? You're damn right it did. I added it up one month and I think I was putting $300 to $400 a month just in, things like for my mitochondria and my telomeres and all of this stuff, right? So I was spending 2 to 3 times as much just on that before we added in all this other stuff to try and affect my health. So now all of that's gone away. I mean, I do take our omega-3s. I'm going to admit to that. And I do a Vision Essentials. But this is all I do, really. I do the omega-3s. I do the essentials. And it's simplified my life. And it's gotten me healthier than any of that ever did. So one more time, you guys, if you're talking to you here and forgetting about my people over here, sorry, you guys. Right, Maggie? I missed your comment earlier because nobody was commenting over here. So Maggie, if you're still here, I appreciate you. You guys, I'm going to go back to my TikTok on Facebook, YouTube. Please just use the QR code. That's going to get you to the same information these people on TikTok are getting. So on TikTok, you just want to tap on my profile picture up here. And then it's going to take you to my profile link, right? The 2 red lights right below that is a link. You click on that link and that's going to get you to my landing page. The QR code on Facebook and YouTube is going to get you to this same place. Once you're here, you're just going to click on the order right here. Now, we're on an hour and a half and I'm going to hop off. There is a free ebook on the 6 simple steps that you can do with or without the system. Like, look, if you can't afford the system and you want to do these things, please do these things. Then if you decide, okay, I need the extra help, please contact me about the system. There's a way to get a hold of me. There's my other profiles. And also I'm building this Facebook group, you guys, thanks to you who have joined today already. But there is this Facebook group called Beating Insulin Resistance. Just creating a community. We are not selling any coaching program or anything in there. It's just a place for you to come together, learn, ask questions when I'm not on a live stream. So come join that group, or I'm starting to create that community so you guys can all get your answers. I have a couple more people that want in, and so I need to go deal with that. But there's a lot of information on my link tree that's just free. It's just there to support and help you guys. Last thing I want to talk about is I'm going to be at the Bodacious Bazaar in Virginia at the Hampton Roads Convention Center. It's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of this year in June. I'll be there live. I'll have product there. I'll be able to answer your questions, give you hugs, take care of you in whatever way that you need that I can take care of you in that environment, right? And I would love to meet you. If you're in the Virginia area, let me know. There is one thing. You guys, I want to go over this because I haven't shown this for a while. A couple of things here. First of all, I hit the wrong button on this. Okay. So this was me when I started. That was my face then. Okay. It's different now. It's just different now. This was what I looked like when I started the system. I was full of inflammation and pain and all of that. So just know it can change. Yes, there was weight loss, but there was a lot of difference. Now, what I want to go over is some success stories. It's not just me. This was me before and after. You know, I went over the list. That's a partial list of what happened to me, right? Well, the things that got better. But then we have this was my feet before and after. My feet would swell up like that. That was within an hour of me getting up every day. If your feet look like that, it can get better. And it was just these 2 real food products. This is my guy, Jason. He's now lost, I think, 160 pounds, but he's overcome hypertension, sleep apnea, hyperlipidemia, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, all of that. No meds, no gastric surgery. And he just sent me a new picture, so I need to update it, but he's looking amazing. This is Cindy. She's now down, I had to update this a while back, and she's now down 100 pounds. I need to get a new picture of her. And it's not necessarily the weight loss. It's all these other things on the side, right? Notice everybody's getting over their hypertension and their hyperlipidemia, inflammation, brain fog, all of that. And then here's Karen. Karen didn't have as much weight as the rest of us to lose, but she was plagued with the diabetic symptoms. So now she's reversed that. Her A1C went from 11.5 to 6.5. She'll have her labs again here in another month or so, and I'll be able to update that. But she still lost 25 pounds, a ton of inches, got rid of heartburn, chronic fatigue, brain fog, and her mental health is better. Her sleep apnea is better. These are all things that these people all did just by using the system. And here's my friend Nurse Steph. She was always tall and lean. She still has lost 40 pounds, has gone from a size 14 to a 6. Her belly fat is gone. Her heartburn and her ADHD are improved since she's been on the system. And Dia has lost over 50 pounds, improved her gut health, reduced her pain, and gotten her life back. And all she did was add the system. There's one more. This one, I haven't talked about this yet today. 2 things. It's good for kids as long as they can drink the products, they can do it. It's real food, so it's not causing damage to the kids. He also is a type 1 diabetic. As a type 1 diabetic, he's been able to lose 35 pounds, get his moods back, and do better in school. He's not feeling as bullied and crabby and anxious. And he told me personally that it's easy. So type 1 diabetics, the last thing I'm going to say before I get my butt off of here is, you know what? I'm fully aware there's a difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2. But if our food is turning into sugar too rapidly in our system, which is causing us to need more insulin, whether it's native insulin that we create or insulin that's being injected or pumped into our body, our cells still become resistant to it. So unless we address that cause, then we still have a problem. So type 1 diabetics can absolutely become insulin resistant as well. And like this young man, he's off of his fast-acting insulin and has reduced his regular insulin by about half. And I hear stories like that all the time, where people are no longer having to rely on their fast-acting insulin. They're pumping in less than half of the insulin they were have to because their body doesn't need it. They're losing weight. They're having better moods. They're having better mental clarity. Yes, it's across the board. So don't think because you're a type 1 diabetic, unlike Ozempic and Mounjaro and metformin and those things, that you can't do this, because it's real food supporting your body, and yes, you can. All right, so I'm done because I'm hungry now. It's 12:30. I'm going on 18 hours of fasting, and my tea is great, but I'm ready to go cook up that bacon, eggs, and burger and have some peppers on the side, because I got to get that in before I go see my grandson in a few hours, and he decides whether we have Chick-fil-A or pizza tonight. You guys, I will see you in the morning. I appreciate your time with me. I appreciate your trust in me. And thanks to everybody on Facebook. Maggie, thank you. And you know what? That QR code, Maggie, that will get you to that link tree so you can know how to get a hold of me. Please join the Facebook group and let's get you answers in there as well. It's just a safe space where you can go ask your questions and I'll come answer, and you don't have to wait to catch me live. Okay? You guys, love you all. Thanks for the day today, and I will talk to you soon.